What's up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. We're going to run through some recent news, and we did have some big news today shared by Watcher Gurus. So we have 5 spot Ethereum ETFs to launch on July 23rd, according to SIBO. So in 3 days, on Tuesday, we can see 5 Ethereum ETFs, including Van Eck, Invesco, Fidelity, 21 Shares, and Franklin Templeton. So what I like is he did link SIBO exchange right there. So as we open this up, we can see the new listings and the tickers with the dates of July 23rd on Tuesday. So we can see CETH, FETH, and we can see Fidelity, 21 shares, and these groups are issuers. So we can click Van Eck as an example. And we can see right here the ticker, Van Eck Ethereum ETF. And it says it will be listed on SIBO and will begin trading as a new issue on July 23rd, 2024, pending regulatory effectiveness. So pretty interesting here. We can see a few others. We can click Fidelity as well. The Fidelity Ethereum Fund. So I would love to see some trading go live for the Ethereum spot ETFs this summer. So definitely keeping tabs on Ethereum and Bitcoin, two of the largest assets in the space, and looking at Bitcoin's previous cycles on the monthly time frame, still holding the uptrend on the monthly and the weekly time frame, and keeping monthly candle bodies above the 8-month EMA. Today that is at 58,724 bucks. So historically, it's important to keep those monthly candle bodies closing above that level, and so far we are, even though we did wick below, similar to previous cycles. I've shared before this is the longest time that we've ranged near our previous cycle top. We've yet to see that historical large major move above the previous cycle top. So we had it super quick in 2020. This period, we broke an all-time highs, crashed back down. This was 2 months. So we've already drawn substantially longer than the longest cycle, but we're still in this uptrend. And really just looking at the Ethereum price chart, in a previous video I shared that last cycle in 2020 when we got Bitcoin's first major move in all-time highs, Ethereum was still 150% away from its cycle top. In this cycle in particular, we're actually a lot closer to our previous cycle top. Not 150% away, about 37 or 38% away. It's all good if you think looking at the price charts is silly. This isn't financial advice, and this is just how I view the market moving in cycles. Some are shorter and some are longer, and just looking at the similarities of the past liquidity cycles, election years, these black vertical lines and these purple circles, which are the halving date. My best guess is that we're in a similar position because today we are after the halving. We've yet to see that first major move. We had the halving in 2016, and we eventually got that first major move of Bitcoin, surpassing its previous cycle top. Same thing with 2020, we had the halving, and we consolidated for a bit and then finally got that first major move. We had the halving recently, and now we've been up here for months. We're coming up to elections this November, so if you think this happens quick or slow, this is just the big picture structure I see as one of the many arguments for the next cycle to begin in the crypto asset class to create new all-time highs. So take it with a grain of salt. You can have a believe it when I see a mindset, the time to get excited for the crypto asset class and a variety of alts at their lows that just haven't performed is when we see confirmation of Bitcoin drawing its first major move. And recently in a video, I shared a really good post by Credible Crypto explaining the price action for alts today, whether they're going up, down, or doing absolutely nothing. All of this is happening in a limited liquidity environment. We haven't seen how alts can perform when there's high liquidity and high volume, historically like we see each cycle when Bitcoin is blasting. So just keep that in mind, alts can go in any direction right now, and this is still happening in a limited liquidity environment. Okay guys, let's run through some recent news, and per usual, we have a bunch of tabs open, and I do my best to trim these clips together. Sometimes I trim them really badly. I usually just don't want to say or pause, and sometimes have to read the page before going through it. I used to just do one-take uncut videos, and people would complain that I would say or even clear my throat. So I'm just trying to trim these clips together, using Voice Meter. Here are my settings, and just showing this for anybody new. Filters. I might have issues with like the noise gate or noise suppression. I'm not an audio engineer, so I need to play with these so the sound of some of the first words I'm saying aren't cut out, so apologies for that. So we have a new blog post put out by the company Ripple, Monica Long, who is the president over at the company Ripple, titled, Building the Future of Financial Infrastructure with Blockchain and Digital Assets. So in this blog post, basically explaining how far the crypto asset class has come since the price of Bitcoin was less than 20 bucks and what is needed for widespread institutional adoption, explaining the need for infrastructure, liquidity, trust, governance, and especially regulatory clarity. Even back then, Ethereum didn't exist. There were only a handful of exchanges with a few $1 million a year in volume. So if you just look at the growth over the past 10 plus years of volume in this space, it's insane. Fast forward a decade, we can see the first Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs have been approved in the United States. We have BlackRock launching its first tokenized fund that's issued on a public blockchain. We have the EU, the European Union, rolling out a comprehensive crypto framework or crypto rules with MiCA, M-I-C-A, This is Markets and Crypto Assets Regulation. We've gone over in previous videos the BIS regulations. Some of them have been delayed, I think, until 2026, but bottom line is they're regulating this asset class. We have the MiCA framework, which is huge in the European Union, and we have basically regulatory clarity for USDC and the Euro coin in the EU. So stablecoin market is huge potential. We've seen the upside potential by 2028 to reach or exceed $3 trillion. So that amount for the stablecoin market, that is larger than the entire crypto asset class. So there's all types of things to consider. We have the XRP ledger, and we also have Ripple payments. So just remember that on-demand liquidity is basically put under the umbrella now as just Ripple payments. So whenever I say Ripple payments, that can mean a variety of things, including XRP. Has near global coverage with over 80 plus payout markets, which represents more than 90% coverage of the daily FX market. And the daily FX market, I believe, is still over $5 trillion. So that's a huge amount that we can see right here, processing more than 50 billion in volume. So just a small fraction. Going over the acquisition of Medico by Ripple, and now Medico is entirely under Ripple the company, under Ripple custody. So remember that both Ripple and Medico, you can Google this, they predict for the institutional crypto custody market to be $10 trillion by 2030. And they work with a variety of tier 1 banks, including HSBC, one of the biggest. We've gone through their website many times before, and a lot of impressive connections. So as they say, Medico will be known as Ripple custody. We can click this. Right under digital asset custody, let me actually control zoom over here so we can see this a bit better. Right under here, the Ripple custody dashboard. Continuing to scale the team in custody business, as well as opening a new office in Geneva coming soon. And right here, we've also decided to fold our Liquidity Hub product into our payment solution, bringing the benefits of both offerings into a singular experience. We know the Ripple US dollar stablecoin set to launch by the end of this year, so that could be big. I'm looking forward to that, along with positive resolution of this court case. Hopefully Brad Garlinghouse is right by the end of the summer. Other things to consider: since 2012, the XRP ledger has processed over 2.8 billion transactions without failure or security breach, which is a really big deal. And if you go to etherscan.io, we can see 2,400 million, which is technically 2.4 billion transactions on Ethereum, and therefore the XRP ledger has processed more transactions than the Ethereum network, and it's definitely cheaper. Just pointing that out, the XRP ledger has really built itself from inception for payments. We know they're trying to get into institutional DeFi, connecting with the EVM sidechain, XLR for interoperability, all types of things. But just pointing out, in terms of transactions without failure, the XRP ledger has processed more than Ethereum. But guess what? Ethereum created DeFi, the ERC20 standard, so many projects building on Ethereum, every transaction requiring Ethereum as well, and that has drawn substantial demand. We've gone over the features of the XRPL with the DEX and auto bridging and pathfinding, finding the most efficient route, and it can use XRP between different tokens. We can see other projects like Zonix for tokenization, and also just considering Archax. This is the group with Hedera, Ethereum tokenizing some of BlackRock's funds, and along with not Archax, but Aberdeen, a huge wealth manager. So I'm definitely looking forward to some more announcements since the announcement of Archax working with the XRP ledger, and I would love to see the tokenization of funds on the XRPL as well. So there are tons of things to consider with the Liquidity Hub using XRP. We're awaiting for any type of resolution with the court case, and even years ago, remember that Coinbase and Ripple, they were both valued at like $8 billion to even $10 billion. And we know that since Coinbase's IPO, I mean, it was, yes, overvalued at $65 billion. I believe they're still up and far past what they were valued at years ago. We can see in 2023, the valuation for Coinbase was over $14 billion. And just looking at Coin, I mean, we are up since 2023. So I think we are still substantially higher. I'd have to actually check the exact number. But it's safe to assume, for me, not financial advice, that Ripple the company today is valued well over $10 billion, considering the recent news we shared of Brad Garlinghouse basically saying that they're planning to repurchase a lot of these shares from Ripple holders, and I think it was like $1.4 billion. So we don't know if Ripple is going to be putting out this IPO, if they have other plans, but there's just a huge amount of money to consider. If you guys have any information or up-to-date information related to Ripple, IPO discussions, or pivots and plans, please let me know. I may have missed something. Just wanted to say that. Next up, we have Charles Hoskinson. So we had huge news yesterday, so I have to go over this. He says, hey look, a centralized service took half the world down. Maybe we should start using decentralized services. Referring to this, shared by CNBC, CrowdStrike issue causes major outage affecting businesses around the world. So from my understanding, and please do your own due diligence, with CrowdStrike and all of the different shorts I've seen, is this was a huge enterprise issue for any companies using Microsoft. So from what I've seen and heard, this wasn't any type of hack. This was just basically an update that got pushed out on Friday and shouldn't have been pushed out, and it caused a huge issue because CrowdStrike is like an antivirus or super advanced malware protection, and it got pushed out with an update, and what happened was the computers or the window machines kept crashing, and they couldn't even be updated or turned on to connect to the internet, and therefore you couldn't even get the update fixed. So I've heard, and I don't know if it's true, but basically the fix was booting the computer in safe mode and deleting a specific file, and it's just a wild thing because all of these businesses were shut down. Payment processing with Visa, airlines that used Windows, all types of stuff. So seeing this type of major outage affecting a variety of companies, we can see American Airlines, should be a huge wake-up call to a variety of enterprises for the importance of redundancy, version control, and especially decentralized services. And it reminds me of Prove AI for Casper Network with the LLMs using it for AI governance. If the LLM is spitting out incorrect information or just isn't working, you can go back and revert back to the previous version that was, so it's an easy fix. And I'm sure this is a really complex topic with a lot of things to consider in terms of infrastructure and interoperability, but hopefully this can serve as a big example to push towards decentralized services, just like Charles Hoskinson said. Because it looks like airlines, banks and FIs, healthcare, government, media outlets, telecom, all of these businesses were affected, and any type of example of this could happen again in the future, on a bigger or smaller scale, and this has huge ramifications. Okay, let's cover a few other things today. We'll cover Algo, and then in future videos, we'll cover more stuff for XRP, HBAR, Casper. I even saw some other news with Constellation. So we have DWF Labs. We know how big their portfolio is. We can see recently the growth of Algorand remains strong. DWF Ventures has created an ecosystem summary diving into developments coming into real-world assets, DeFi, and more. So we can see down below an Algorand ecosystem summary. So we can see them still building, and if you guys saw, Algorand Foundation put out an updated website for Algo, and it looks a lot better. Next up, I want to play this quick clip shared by the Algo Foundation. This is John Woods, the CTO, at Decipher 2024.
I'm super proud of this one. Immersive is a small but very successful startup that issues regular MasterCards that work everywhere MasterCard works. They're working with Ethereum. And I met, I think, their co-founder, I think it was at a side event, and we talked about bringing immersive support or MasterCard support into the Algorand ecosystem. One of the things I noticed, sorry, I think my audio's gone, yeah, cool. One of the things I noticed very quickly talking to him was that they only settle once a day on Ethereum because it costs too much money to settle. So when someone taps the card, they don't seize the crypto on their side to actually pay for that transaction. They essentially provide a little bit of a loan service. That introduces risk. If the user was to simultaneously try to spend that money, they wouldn't be able to claim the crypto later. When I explained to the team that it was possible to have instant finality at near zero cost so that they could not have that translation risk, not have that time risk, but immediately settle the crypto leg of the journey whilst the user paid for something, they were all over it. Of course, they didn't have experience building with Algorand, and so that's where our R&D and DevRel team came in and gave them the lift and love that they needed to bring MasterCard support to Pera. It's in testnet right now. We're going to have an amazing press release at the end of the week, but it's big news. Thank you.
So that's pretty cool, and we've talked about this before. The Pera wallet is a wallet based on Algorand, and Immersive is a principal partner of MasterCard. So in all, on-chain, have your own bank account on Algorand in an individual smart contract. It's a tap card, and Pera debits USDC. You can also see right here that Silvio Micali, the founder of Algorand, MIT guy, and basically the father of zero-knowledge proofs, is going to be speaking over at Paris Blockchain Week in April. So I know this is a while away and nobody cares about this type of news until we see price action, but just wanted to share that they seem to be active. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button and sharing your thoughts down below. As always, you can find all links, including resources for charting, trading bots, platforms, wallets, portfolio trackers, and exclusive discounts in my link tree at the top of the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.